Hello, YouTube and sports cards fanatics. This is Dodger Town 76 Fungo. This is my first video, and I would like to tell you a little bit about me and my collecting. I've been collecting for less than a year now. At that time, I was searching YouTube, looking through all the videos, and the algorithm was always bringing me to flipping and investor channels. I was learning there's so many new ways in the hobby to collect in so many different ways. When I was a kid, I would always collect my favorite baseball teams or favorite players. But I learned about prospecting, PCs, investing, etc. So I went down that path for about a month, but I felt like I was always behind the eight ball, especially budget-wise. As they say, fear of missing out. Then I found some old cards in my mom's garage, some football cards and baseball cards. Then I remembered what it was like to be a kid when I bought packs and wax, hopefully to pull players of teams that I liked. So this is how I collect today. Who knows, from a year from now, I'm flexible, but as long as it's within my budget. And with some luck, maybe my budget will go up. So I started my research on YouTube for vintage cards and content. And to be honest, I probably haven't watched TV in probably 10 months. I am just completely entertained by everybody's content out there, and I have so much fun watching it. So I was trying to learn everything, and I had a few cards in my collection that had nicknames on it. So this is how I started out my first PC collection, and so it's all cards with nicknames on it. But I do collect other cards. I do have a team PCs and my favorite players, but I figured this is a good way for me to start, and it was in my budget range to get some vintage cards and cards that I like with nicknames. So I'm going to show you a few of these cards that I have and where I started out. These cards I'm showing you today are not cards from my collection, from my childhood collection, but from cards that I've been picking up. So I'm going to show these to you. This first card I want to show you is of Emil Dutch Leonard. He was a pitcher for the Cubs. This is a 1952 Bowman. This happens to be the most expensive in my collection. I picked this card up for $10. A little bit about Dutch. He played for 20 years. He was a 5-time All-Star. He had a WAR of 48.9, 191 wins, and 181 losses. He had ERA of 3.25. He had 1,170 strikeouts. He got the nickname because of an earlier pitcher named Dutch Leonard. He had a tremendous knuckleball, and Jackie Robinson described Leonard as a knuckler. It comes up, makes a face at you, and then runs away. Let me put that here. The next card that I want to present is James Mudcat Grant, also another pitcher. This card is a 59 tops. Let me get this in focus. Beautiful card. I really love it. And I love the name Mudcat. He got the name because everybody thought he was from Mississippi, but he was a Florida boy, and he was from Dade City. He was also a very talented musician playing the blues. He had a band called Mudcat and the Kittens, and a former Oakland A's catcher and teammate, Gene Tennants, said he was like an artist, man. He painted these little cats on top of his tongue of his baseball cleats. That was cool. He painted the picture of the head of the cat and of his shoe. He made his big league debut in 1958 with the Cleveland Indians and earned his first All-Star selection in 1963 when he recorded a career high 157 strikeouts. Grant was the fourth black ace to win at least 20 games in a season behind Don Newcombe, Sam Jones, and Bob Gibson. He played for 7 times in the NBL career, but became a black ace with the Minnesota Twins. He was the first black 20-game winner in American League history. He finished with a 21-7 in 1965, and he led the American League in wins. Grant finished 6th in American League MVP voting that year, but also led the league in shutout victories with 6. It's a little windy out here, so the cards are getting blown around. I apologize. First video, please bear with me. Oh. This next card I'm going to present to you is Forrest Spook Jacobs. It's a 56 Topps card, and I picked it up relatively cheap, probably about $3. Really good shape, I believe. And he gained his nickname by frequently dumping hits just over the heads of opposing infielders. Forrest Spook Jacobs enlisted in the U.S. Army after graduation in 1943. And served in the Pacific during World War II, 18 years, including 3 years in the majors as a second baseman for the Philadelphia, Kansas City Athletics and Pittsburgh Pirates. At 5'9", he was one of the smallest players in the league at the time. On April 13, 1954, in his major league debut with the Athletics, he became the first player in Major League history to collect 4 consecutive hits in his first 4 major league at-bats. This next card I'm going to present is a 59 Topps. Not too much to say about this player. He wasn't a very good pitcher, but I love the name Whammy. I think it's such a cool name. He had a WAR of 0.3. He did well in the minors, though. He did have only one eye, and like I said, he had an awesome nickname, but quite an accomplishment, just having one eye. This next card is a 53 Topps of Bobo Newsom. He got the name because he could not remember people's names, and he always would call everybody Bobo. He was a 20-year player, 4-time All-Star, 1 World Series. He had a WAR of 47.8. He had 211 wins and 222 lost, with the ERA of 3.98. With 211 wins, he was one of the 100th winning pitchers of all time. His 222 losses also make him with the only major league pitcher to win 200 games and still have a sub .500 career winning percentage. Few players were traded as much as Bobo. He even once played with a broken kneecap, and he wasn't afraid to tell the umpires to tighten up. He was scrappy, but according to Hank Greensburg, Newsom was unfailing kind to rookies, even treated them to dinners occasionally. He had a run-in with manager Leo DeRocher over a pitch to Vinny DiMaggio and was suspended. Newsom's teammates threatened to go on strike unless he was reinstated. The usually reserved and gentlemanly Archie Vaughan was so upset by the argument and suspension that he rolled up his uniform, handed it to DeRocher, and told Leo to shove it up his ass. He had a love for his teammates and fans. And for the last card in this video, and I will bring you more as my collection grows, this is a card of Pumpsie Green, player for the Red Sox. This is a 61 Topps. He was a second baseman, pinch hitter, and a shortstop. He was the first black player to play for the Red Sox. In 1959, the Red Sox were the last to desegregate. The Red Sox, under owner Tom Yawkey, were one of the most racist organizations across all professional sports. Yawkey systematically used racial slurs to refer to African Americans. He also poured dollars into pockets of segregationist politicians in his home state of South Carolina. Pinky Higgins, Austin's general manager, once said there will be no blanks on this baseball club as long as I have anything to say about it.